Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to take a look at the new rules for the Adeptus Mechanicus and for Chaos Knights for Engine War, and also something that I missed. I don't know how I missed this, but finally, this lad, the Tech Priest Manipulus, will be his own release. You'll be able to get the old chunky, floaty fella for your very self, with a little bit of, I swear it's just a Caradron Overlord part sticking out the top of his carapace there. Every single time I see it, I'm like, is that... It feels like it is. It is a creepy model. It's cool. It's nice. It's very AdMech. I like it a lot. And of course, along with all of that, you've got the Robo Doggos, the ridiculous flyers, including that one, and a new Start Collecting. Now, I actually quite like this Start Collecting, mostly because the Dune Rider it's like a versatile kit, so you can either build the transport version or you can build the tank version. Both of those versions are going to be in this Start Collecting box, so you will actually be able to build either of those. It's not like a limited version of it, which makes, I think, this Start Collecting pretty decent, because you can either do Vanguard or Rangers, you can either have transport or tank. You're going to end up with more like Tech Priest engine series than you really need, but then again, the rest of the box feels like it's pretty decent value, and that model is kind of cheap anyway, so it feels like a decent... I don't know if I'd call it upgrade, like a decent side grade. I suppose technically it is an upgrade, because the vehicle in there can be used as either a transport or an actual just tank, whereas before that wasn't the case. But yeah, I think that's a decent trade-off. Now let's go over the rules for these lads. I'm quite looking forward to this. I've not actually looked at these yet. So we have Forge Your Own Path. Engine War introduces the option for you to create your own Forge world for your Adeptus Mechanicus force to hail from. You then get to select a primary and secondary ability to make a new dogma for your world. For example, if you choose to be a rad-saturated Forge world, you get the Radiant Disciplines primary ability. So for that one, it is when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against an infantry unit with this dogma that is not within 12 inches, subtract 1 from the strength characteristic of that weapon for the attack. Okay? If that doesn't give enough protection to your cohorts, you could double down with the Omniscia's Shield. Omniscire. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. I always say Omniscia. I just get it wrong every time. Secondary ability, to give your infantry the Machine God's Blessing in close combat. So when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against an infantry unit with this dogma, reduce the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1 for that attack to a minimum of 0. So AP -1 becomes AP 0. Nice. You can make your lads pretty tanky there, which is quite nice. I really like all of this kind of thing. When it comes to customization, when it comes to taking a force that you have, you've designed the color scheme for it, you have come up with some background for it, actually being able to really drill down into creating the perfect play style for that force. Anything that allows you to do that, I'm a big fan of. Like, a massive part of this hobby for so many of us is making the things you want to make and creating your own, your own personal project, your own personal army, and making stuff up in terms of the background and the lore for them. I'm never going to complain about this kind of ability to actually tailor stuff to make the army exactly what you want it to be. I really like stuff like this. I'm happy that there's been kind of an uptick of that when it comes to the Psychic Awakening stuff, and of course things like the more recent codexes we've had have been way better for that kind of thing. So yeah, I'd like that a lot. So we also have some canticles. That's a lot of hovercraft right there, isn't it? Good lord. Okay, so if you prefer to stick on the Forge World from Codex Adeptus Mechanicus rather than create your own, you'll be rewarded with a new canticle. So for Mars, we have Panegyric Procession. The names are going to absolutely annihilate me, aren't they? So, the Tech Priests of the Red Planet lead their disciples in a oh my god, what is that? Cortege of war. in a, whatever that word is, of war. The buzz of static psalms, chanted in synchronicity, unites all in the stately eradication of the heretic and blasphemer. What a nightmare, like, short paragraph that is. Christ. Models in affected units do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. Nice. Increase the strength characteristic of heavy weapons models in the affected unit are equipped by 1. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's fun. I like stuff like that. I mean, I would do. I've got a massive army of just dreadnoughts. That sort of thing is just excellent to me. So, whereas if you're from Styes, you can add some incredible tactical flexibility. So, for Styes, you have Plea of the Veiled Hunter. Can we have less words that I don't know in this one? In silent supplication to the machine god, a concentrated burst of Nuspheric negation manifests as a heavy band of shadow, allowing the warriors of Styes to disengage seamlessly from their foe and instantly strike back. Affected units can shoot in a turn in which they fell back, but if a unit does so when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit that turn, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay, cool. Yeah, so just fall back then and attack again. These are all, obviously, these are things that we've seen before. They're not like brand new, never seen this in anything else ever. We have so many of these things that really kind of recycling and reuse across different factions is essentially totally inevitable, but you can still appreciate it when you see them. So, whichever Forge World your forces are from, you can now join in the political machinations of the Adeptus Mechanicus. If your warlord joins one of the 4 holy orders, they'll be able to select the associate warlord trait. Each holy order gives you a choice of 3 abilities to select at the start of one of your turns. Throw your lot in with the Magi to get these abilities. Okay, hang on. My ability to comprehend sentences just went away. Each holy order gives you a choice of 3 abilities to select at the start of one of your turns. Okay, I get it. So you can pick any of the 3, and it's just what it doesn't say that it's like first turn, second turn. It's just at the start of one of your turns, so you get to choose when you activate it. Okay, cool. So, divinations of the Magi. Magi are masters of fiercely guarded knowledge, pursuing esoteric agendas to enhance their specialisms at all costs. No risk is too great, and no gambit too unwise in their ceaseless and predatory acquisition of ancient lore. At the start of your turn, you can select one of the aura abilities below until the start of your next turn. This warlord is treated as having that aura ability on their datasheet. So, overloaded safeguards when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a friendly Forge World model within 6 inches of this warlord, and a modified hit roll of 6 scores 1 additional hit. Oh, that's cool, I like that. Aggressive subroutines, you can re-roll charge rolls made for friendly Forge World units within 6 inches. Okay. Predatory programming, when a friendly Forge World unit within 6 inches of this warlord advances, roll 1 additional d6 and discard 1 of the dice when making the advance roll. So there's a nice bit of flexibility there. Yeah, okay, cool. That's nice. That feels nice and flexible, and being able to just pick the turn that you do it. Yeah, okay. Cool. So, we also have some stratagems. The Adeptus Mechanicus, what's getting rid of stratagems? Yep. Ever wanted to shut down your enemy's aura effects, then deploy some electro-filament countermeasures? Sure. 1 command point. A glittering cloud of nanofibers descends, its distorting and fracturing effect shutting down enemy comms. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 1 Archaeopter unit equipped with a command uplink from your army. Until the start of your next turn, enemy models' aura abilities have no effect whilst within 6 inches of that unit. That's fun. I quite like that. That's cool. Oh, zoom one of those in, stick it in just the right spot, and just remove auras. Oh, it feels dirty. Dirty but nice, is what that feels. I like that. I like that. Use that to put those Primaris Lieutenants in their place. And everything else. Yeah, that's quality. Okay. You can also employ your new Turaxi Skystalkers to keep your enemies' heads down. Steel Rain Fusillade, excellent name. Unleashing a storm of... 1 command point. Unleashing a storm of needle-like projectiles, Skystalkers keep their enemies suppressed with unceasing hails of fire. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Turaxi Skystalkers unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Select 1 enemy unit that is not Titanic. Okay, until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that Taurasi Skystalker's unit against the elected unit, if a hit is scored, the target is suppressed until the start of your next turn. Okay, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in a suppressed unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay, yeah, no, I quite like that. That's a nice addition to, just shooting people, full stop. Yeah, that's fun. I do like the clarification that it can't be Titanic. Okay. We also have Cerberus Cavalry. So yeah, they're getting new units to add to their forces along with all of these new rules. So the Silverhounds excel as Pistoliers? I'm so not doing well with pronunciations today, am I? Christ. You can choose to fire pistol weapon models in this unit are equipped with, even if this unit advanced this turn. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's nice. That works. Whereas the Raiders are ideal for sniping at enemy characters. Eye of Cerberus. Ranged weapons models in this unit are equipped with can target a character unit even if it is not the closest enemy unit. In addition, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit, a wound roll of 6+ inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. So, fairly mobile character assassin type stuff there. Cool. The Archaeopters. They look somehow even weirder on the floor. I'm not really sure how that's possible, but there you go. Okay, so the command uplink is the thing that you need to be able to shut down aura abilities. If this model has a command uplink, friendly Forge World units can use this model's leadership instead of their own whilst they're within 6 inches of this model. Cool. And the other thing is the Chaff Launcher. So when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a model with a Chaff Launcher, reduce the damage characteristic of that weapon by 1 to a minimum of 1 for that attack. Nice. There's some fun stuff in there. There is some fun stuff in there. I like that. Yeah, I really do like a couple of those. The Eye of Cerberus and that stratagem to shut down auras both strike me as being quite fun. Well, those and the divinations of the Magos as well. I do like that as well. Okay, let's have a gander at the rules for the Chaos Knights. This is of particular interest to me because I've got 5 of them now. Well, 2 of them are war dogs. Do they really count as knights? I guess, sort of. They're not like the big chunky lads, though, are they? So, as they say, today's the turn of the Chaos Knights, so jump in your giant war machine and see what new implements of destruction you'll be getting. I will say as well that I think the Chaos Knights that they use for the images are like some of the nicest painted models they've done for this type of thing. So, if your force is from an iconoclast household, you can now declare your army to be part of House Lucaris, House Herpetrax, or House Chimere. Alternatively, if your allegiance is to an infernal household, you can join House Vetrix or House Commentis. God, the names are really, properly chaosy, it feels like. Each house has its own household bond, warlord trait, artifact of tyranny, and stratagem. Artifact of Tyranny is still, the best name, by the way. So, pledge yourself to House Herpetrax and gain the Dauntless Household Bond. The fallen nobles of House Herpetrax are indomitable, refusing to fall even as their knight suits burn around them. Add 2 to the wounds characteristic of models with this bond. Add 1 instead if that model is a war dog. Want to be a bit more tanky? Want your knights to have more wounds than they already did? Why would you not want that? I quite like that. Gotta leave them standing for as long as possible. Yeah, just imagine another 2 wounds on your Knight Tyrant. I feel like it's fair to say that there are those who are not fully equipped to deal with Knights 100% of the time, and that is going to make those people very irritated. Let's be honest. If you just rock up and you're like, here you go, here's a whole shed load of Knights, and they're like, oh dear, I did not actually plan for a whole shed load of Knights. Oh, and they've all got 2 extra wounds. That's going to be an interesting game. So, and by interesting, I mean probably not all that fun for one side of it. House Lucaris. Strike first, strike often. So warlord trait for these guys is knightly lords of House Lucaris vie with each other for the honour of being the first to spill the blood of the enemy. In battle they strike with lightning speed unexpected for such large war machines. This warlord always fights first in the fight phase, even if it did not charge. If the enemy unit has units that have charged, or that have a similar ability, then alternate choosing units to fight with, starting with the player whose turn is taking place. Okay, cool. I quite like the flavour of that. That's fun. So we also have stratagems. So members of House Chimere can employ the fury of Surtur's Wake to dish out mortal wounds on your enemy. So 2 command points. The fallen nobles of House Chimere have adapted their towering steeds to store excess heat in specialised combustion chambers before unleashing it from every vent as a roiling wave of flame, incinerating all who are caught in the blast. That's a bit hardcore. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase. Select one House Chimere model from your army, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 3 inches of that model, and on a 4+, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. I really like that. That's quite fun. That is quite fun. That is the sort of thing that I would do. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Okay. March one of your knights into the heart of enemy lines and cause incredible carnage. Well, I mean, you're probably going to do that anyway for the most part if you're dumping a knight right in the middle of enemy lines, but if you love to get up close and personal, put your X in the House Vetrix box and take advantage of the Heretic Power Core. Oh, now you're talking my language. So, merging demonically infused power cores with forbidden Xenos biophase shards, the Heretic Power Core pushes the knight's destructive potential to even greater heights. House Vetrix model only. Add 1 inch to the move characteristic of a model with this relic. In addition, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the Reaper Chainsword or Thunderstrike Gauntlet of a model with this relic. When a model with this relic is destroyed, add 1 to any dice roll to see if that model explodes. I'm in. That one. I'll have that. I love it. That's that's really cool. That's really fun. Yeah, no, I'll take that. That's good. House Vetrix it is then, I guess. I do like this artifact is perfect for rushing forward and destroying any enemy unit that gets in your way. Well, yeah. Finally, House Commentis, the weirdest name of all of them, can send out their war dogs to encircle their enemies. Encircling hounds. So 1 command point. Following ancient hunting tradition, the fallen nobles of House Commentis send their faster vassals to circle behind the enemy and drive them onto their master's guns and blades. Use this stratagem during deployment. Oh, so you're gonna be able to do like a cheeky setup. Select 1 House Commentis War Dogs unit from your army. You can set up this unit encircling the foe instead of setting up on the battlefield. If you do, at the end of one of your movement phases, you can set this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is within 6 inches of a battlefield edge and more than 9 inches from any enemy models. The War Dog's vehicle squadron ability only takes effect when this unit is set up on the battlefield, not when it is set up encircling the foe. Okay. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. Take a full unit of 3 war dogs and put them right in your enemy's face as soon as possible. Well, you would, wouldn't you? I quite like that. That's fun. Okay, Dread Household Bonds. Of course, you may decide you want to create your own Dread Household. Yeah, I mean, having already said that I really like the customization of all this stuff, and I'm being reminded of it through the Adeptus Mechanicus one. Whilst I do like a couple of things that we've seen so far, I mean, making your own household is more what I think I would probably go for. So, Engine War has rules to let you do this, obviously. So choose 2 abilities from the list that really represent how your knights make war. Do you like to hunt enemy vehicles and monsters up close? So Slayers of Kings. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, excluding Titanic Feet, by a model with this bond against a vehicle or monster unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Okay. And or do you prefer to slay the enemy from afar? When a model with this bond fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot or fight with, you can reroll a single dice when determining damage as a result of those attacks. Yeah, alright. Neither of those have captured my imagination particularly, but there's going to be way more than that. It's not like those are the only 2, so it would be interesting to go through and actually see what else is available for them for that. Overall, there's some fun stuff in here. There is some fun stuff. I have to say, I really do like the Heretic Power Core. That is the kind of thing I'd totally go for. But then, the Fury of Surtur's Wake is... it just seems really fun to me as well. So overall, there's some fun stuff in there. I feel like the Adeptus Mechanicus has got a couple of really nice rules out of this. I'd say chaos as well, really. I mean, for me, it's all about what would be the most fun, not necessarily the thing that would be like the best performing. And there is definitely some stuff in there that really just look like it could create some pretty cool moments on the tabletop. So yeah, there we go. That is the new rules for the Adeptus Mechanicus and Chaos Knights, and of course we took a brief look at the new Start Collecting for Adeptus Mechanicus as well. Let me know what you think of those in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.